Good morning to everybody on the West Coast and everybody else. A good afternoon to you. This is how to generate contacts on demand and consistently set listing appointments. I'm very, very appreciative that you're here with me today. And I appreciate everybody chatting into the box there that you can hear me and see my screen. That's fantastic. We've got people from Georgia. We've got people from Phoenix. We've got Panama City. We've got, New Mexico, Dallas, Kansas City. We've got everything. We've got people all over Chicagoland, Pennsylvania, everybody all over the place. Thank you so much for being here with us today. With me today, I am super excited. Again, this is how to generate contacts on demand and consistently set listing appointments. And I'm going to show you how to do that by teaching you the method that top prospectors use to call what we call GeoLeads, to turn what we call GeoLeads into a listing appointment every single day. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this even if you've never prospected to GeoLeads before, or maybe you're already prospecting to them and you just want a single system without a bunch of messy integrations. We're going to put everything all into one place for you. It's going to be a fantastic webinar. My name is Tyler Fenn. I'm the Director of Sales here. That's my beautiful family. I have 4 sons and right now 6 soccer games a week. It's a never-ending party at my house, it seems like. But I've been here at the REDX for 10 years. And when I started here 10 years ago, I certainly wasn't seeking to become some expert on prospecting, but over the years, I've had literally thousands upon thousands of conversations, and thousands of REDX customers have put their trust in me. They've shared their successes and, more importantly, their failures. And I've realized that I need to share what I've learned. And for instance, when an agent calls me, they're able to tell me that, hey, man, I'm really struggling to find success in prospecting. I know exactly what questions I need to ask so that I can create a detailed action plan for that person to step up their game and be able to really be an efficient prospector and ultimately begin making money. Another thing, when I run into customers at events, they ask me how to make more contacts every day. How do I talk to more people is a question I get all the time. I can take a quick assessment of their skills and their process and make recommendations to help them reach their goal. But the truth is, I wouldn't be able to do any of this without the amazing team of designers, engineers, really the entire staff here at REDX. In 2003, we built the industry's first expired listing service, and continually for more than a decade, we've asked ourselves, what can we do to make our customers more successful? And I think that's the reason why over 40,000 agents have chosen the REDX, and why the average REDX customer closes nearly 3 times what the average realtor does. Now, when you come to our office here in Utah, you'll see our core values. They're written big and bold on the wall, and you'll see how they keep us focused on our purpose. The reason we exist as an organization is to clear the path to success for real estate professionals. That's why we exist, and that's hopefully what we're going to be able to do on this webinar a little bit today. Now, here's what you're going to learn during this webinar. I'm going to teach you how top prospectors block their time so that you will always have enough time to set and go on listing appointments. I'm going to show you how the top prospectors reach more homeowners without spending a fortune on internet leads. I'm going to show you how top prospectors avoid financial feast and famine so that you can experience the financial security that you've always been looking for. And I'm going to teach you how top prospectors consistently fill their calendars with listing appointments so that you can control your time. Ultimately, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you the tried and true way that top prospectors generate leads on demand with GeoLeads and how to consistently turn them into listing appointments every single day, even when it's a poor market condition or droughts in inventory. Now, here's why this matters, right? Here's why it's a good thing that you're on this webinar with me today. Now, back in 2008, during the last recession, a lot of agents found themselves out of business. Now, these agents, a lot of them, they were veterans in the industry. They've been in the business 10 years or more, but unfortunately only knew what a quote unquote good market felt like. They never developed systems and skills that they needed to weather any market conditions. And now where we're at with our home prices at or above the last crash, this webinar will teach you what you need to know so that whatever comes, whatever market condition we face in the future, you will have the systems and processes in place to generate leads on demand and continually take listing appointments. If you're ready to grow your business, you want a simple turnkey solution, this is going to be an important webinar for you. If you're new in the business and you want to get started right, then this is absolutely going to be a fantastic thing for you. If you're frustrated or unsatisfied in any way with your production, this is going to be something that you can take and implement right away and begin seeing a difference in your business. So I'm happy that you're here with me. I'm very grateful for that. A couple of house rules before we get going here. The first thing is you're going to have questions. I will have answers, but I'm not going to answer those questions until the end. So once I get through my presentation, then I'll take some time to go through Q&A. I will stay on this webinar as long as I need to make sure that every single question that has been asked, that I can answer that. And I'll try to do that in the most efficient way possible. The other thing is I'm not giving you a silver bullet, and I want you to know that up front. I want to create a realistic expectation for you. I'm not telling you something that's a gimmick. What I'm going to teach you will require hard work. It will require change. It will require discomfort. But as you do those things, you will see results. I'm going to teach you how you can accomplish the results that the top prospectors do. And most of you will begin to see a major difference in your business within 90 days. So please be willing to make that commitment at the very least. Make that commitment to say, what Tyler teaches me on this webinar today, I'm going to do for the next 90 days. If you do, I assure you it's not a silver bullet, but it will certainly put some silver in your pocket, and that's what we're going for here. If you have a weak or a poor work ethic, this is not going to be good for you. Now, I've never met a person who's looked me in the eye and said, I don't work hard. But the truth is, a lot of people don't work hard, and you know yourself better than anybody else does, and you can probably take a real good look at yourself and say, you know what, I tend to not work very hard. And if that's the case, this isn't going to be hugely helpful for you because, again, it's not a silver bullet. This isn't some cheap gimmick that I'm trying to sell you on and try to get rich quick. This is something that will take hard work to implement and put in place. So if you don't have that work ethic, it's going to be difficult. If you don't have a desire to achieve your goals, that's going to be really hard. But if you are somebody who recognizes that silver bullets don't exist, that you do have a strong work ethic, you do have a desire to achieve your goals. The truth is you're different than most of the agents out there. You see the value in prospecting, you understand the hard work that's involved, you see the value in creating predictable systems in your business that will produce over and over and over, but you recognize the hard work there. My hope is that you'll commit to doing what it takes long enough to achieve your goals and implement the routines that I'm going to show you on this webinar. I have one last confession before we jump into the meat and potatoes. The top prospectors who've provided the strategies that you're going to learn, they have an advantage over most agents. They've already cultivated the needed skills and the discipline to reach the results that they do. If you don't have those needed skills and discipline, that's okay. I'm going to show you everything they do right now and show you the schedule and the way that they implement those things so that you can copy exactly what it is that they're doing. Let me take you through what we call the journey to becoming a top prospector, because let's face it, nobody wakes up one morning and all of a sudden is a top performer in their industry, whether you're in real estate, athletics, academics, whatever it is. There's something that we all go through to becoming a top performer. It's our own version of the hero's journey. Now, the hero's journey is something used by creatives and writers to write stories, right? The protagonist is taken through a series of events to becoming the hero, right? To becoming the person that we love and adore at the end of the film or story or book. And the hero's journey, just to condense it for you, typically begins with some call to adventure. The protagonist is typically going to resist that call to adventure, but eventually accept it. They're going to face opposition, but they're going to persist through that opposition, and eventually they're going to achieve greatness. They're going to earn that title of hero or top producer. In other words, they don't wake up one morning and just have these habits and skills and experiences in place. They went through their own journey to come to where they are, really only failing if they choose to give up. Now, a really good example of this, one of my favorite movies, 1992 film Rudy, based on a true story of a kid named Daniel Rudy Rudiger. Now, his dream, his calling, so to speak, he wanted to play football for Notre Dame. And through a series of events, he decides that he's going to apply and get into Notre Dame, even though his whole life he's been told he's too short, his grades are too low, he had dyslexia. But he works really hard to overcome dyslexia, improve his grades through a community college, and is eventually accepted to Notre Dame and even accepted to the football team, but spends 2 years on the team as a tackle dummy. He's the guy in practice who they don't really care if he gets injured. They just pummel him over and over and over so that the starting players can get practice hitting somebody. Now, we all know the story of Rudy. If you haven't seen the movie, your weekend just got booked. But we know the story. He ends up making the game-winning play, scores the game-winning touchdown, and he's carried off the field by his teammates. Now, what I'm going to show you is a way to condense this journey into the shortest amount of time possible so that you can accelerate your own performance to creating a consistent, predictable business. But the truth is, the hero's journey begins with that calling. And even the top prospectors, but all of us here certainly felt some calling to real estate. It could have been that we were tired of reporting to somebody else. We wanted to live on our own terms, so to speak. We wanted to be valued for our effort rather than our time. Maybe it was simply the idea of financial security that we're drawn to, that we want that. So just like the top prospectors, we all get into real estate school. We get our license. We join a brokerage, and we go to work. We begin working sometimes with another agent or team in our office. But regardless of the circumstances as to why or how we got into real estate, every single one of us got in with high hopes of what was to come, right? Nobody gets into real estate and says, meh, I hope I'm mediocre, right? We all get in hoping to be a top producer. And the truth is, the harsh reality sets in and we realize brokers don't support us the way that we expected, right? Or maybe the team took advantage of me. Man, they sat me at the cold open houses with nobody showing up there and gave me these non-converting leads, or didn't help at all. Pretty soon we're taking on any buyer with a pulse just to get a transaction in hopes to improve the number in our bank account. Ultimately, though, just like the top producers who have gone through this same journey, we eventually start to question. We go, wow, is this really it? Like, is this as far as my business can go? Is this mediocre or sometimes even less than mediocre idea of success? And what happens is hitting rock bottom forced these top prospectors to take a good look at their business, at that calling that they felt to real estate, and really question if this is what it was. Now, this is a key part in your own journey to becoming a top prospector. This is the moment where you're either going to make that leap to becoming a top prospector, or frankly, you're going to take a leap right out of the business, whether that's mentally or quite literally. You're either going to make the determination right now to move forward and be successful and make some changes, or you're not. Now, this is what we've learned about the top prospectors from our research and their stories about what they did and how they did it to make that leap. Now, the first thing is they experience a major shift in their mindset, right? They start to go from, it's not the broker, the team, the leads that's keeping me from being successful. It's my skills, it's my habits, it's my routine. In order to stay in the business or in order to grow my business, I need to improve. I have to change, not my environment or my team or my leads. In other words, they begin to take real ownership of their success. There's no more external force. It now becomes an intrinsic internal motivator for them to achieve success. Now, another big thing is they begin to understand the numbers that create accountability around those in their business, right? There's an old saying that numbers are the heart of your business. You have to keep your hand on the pulse, right? Or keep your finger on the pulse. You have to know what your numbers are in order to really achieve a predictable business model. I have to know how many phone calls I'm going to make to talk to a person, and how many people do I talk to get a listing appointment, and how many listings to get a closing, etc. Understanding these numbers on a very granular level makes a massive difference in your business. And if you don't know those numbers, man, we could do a whole nother webinar on that by itself, but just understand the importance of understanding the numbers in your business. The third thing is they begin to establish a regular routine. I can't tell you over the 10 years I've been here how many agents I've talked to that are brand new in the business. And when I ask why you got into the business, they say, well, to be my own boss and make my own hours. But what they don't understand is they're a terrible boss and they don't work any hours, right? There's no routine, there's no prospecting, there's no effort to get out there and generate business. They hoped that grandma would buy a house, but unfortunately, grandma can't buy a house through you every single month, right? She might give you a transaction right off the bat, but it's going to be a while before grandma buys another house. So these agents get in, they understand regularly scheduled prospecting. It's something they commit to. They put it on their calendar in advance so they know that time block every single day is dedicated to prospecting, to generating new business from new contacts. They commit to prospecting proven lead sources, expireds, FSBOs, for rent by owners, pre-foreclosure leads, right? You're out there, they're working these lead types that agents time and time again have proven to produce fruit. And sometimes after weeks, usually months, but for some it's even years, but they begin to see some of the success from these three things. But the truth is, even after all of those things, even after their mindset, their routine, and understanding their numbers, they recognize that it still isn't going to be enough. And as we've interviewed these agents, they come to this point, and we recognize that for many of them, it wasn't until these prospectors discovered GeoLeads and the successful approaches to implementing them that they developed a predictable way to get leads and consistently set listing appointments from them. But let me answer this question. What is a GeoLead, right? Geography-based lead type used for prospecting campaigns like your just listed, just solds. It's your circle prospecting, commonly known geographic farming, right? It's any geography-based prospecting method where you're trying to target a street or a neighborhood or a subdivision. That's a GeoLead, a geography-based lead type. A GeoLead allows you to turn every residence within a specific geographic area into a workable lead by having the contact information for every homeowner generated. Now, you may not even recognize that you've been working GeoLeads already if you're going, I've never done that before. But if you've ever gone to a listing appointment and then knocked the next door neighbor, that's a GeoLead, right? The difference is you're there knocking on the door instead of having a phone number generated for you. Now, essentially, what a GeoLead tool does is provides you an endless supply of leads. Now that sounds really awesome, but the downside to an endless supply of leads is there's also an endless number of methods that you can take on to working them. And trust me, not all of these methods are worth your time. So what I've done is I've interviewed thousands of agents. I've interviewed REDX's top prospectors. I've analyzed their routines. I've taken from them the very best skills and habits, and I've created a method that you can implement right away, something that you can walk away from this webinar and make changes in your business today to achieve the kind of success that you've always wanted in your business. That goes for the new agents, that goes for the seasoned pros, and everyone in between. You'll be able to take things from what I'm about to teach you and implement those today. Now, what I'm going to teach you is something that I call the Olympian method. And I call it the Olympian method because agents get listing appointments the way an Olympian athlete trains to win a gold medal. They relentlessly pursue their goal by sticking to a dedicated routine every day with unwavering dedication. Relentless pursuit of their goal by sticking to a routine every day with unwavering dedication. So step one of the Olympian method, if you've got a notepad and paper out, this is the time when you want to use it. We're going to go through this material quickly, but again, if you have questions, be sure to chat those in the questions box, and we're going to answer those at the end here. Step one of the Olympian method is planning for the future, right? Now this slide, everybody kind of goes, oh, I've got annual goals. And the truth is, I bet everybody on this webinar, and there's hundreds of us on this webinar today, I bet everybody here goes, yeah, I've got an annual goal. And the truth is, some of you, we've based that on a number of transactions. For some of you, it's probably a dollar amount. I want to make $125,000 this year. Or for some of you, it might be something more tangible, a dream vacation. I want to buy a dream home or do the add-on to the house or move to this neighborhood or whatever, something a little more tangible. And there's a dollar amount typically affixed to that. Now, I would say all of us on this call have that. We have an annual goal. But what many of us have failed to do is work backwards from that goal to calculate the daily production that you need on a monthly, weekly, daily basis to reach that goal. And it works by doing this, taking the number of closings that you'll need to achieve that goal, and then determine the number of listings that you need to set. The number of listings, how many listing presentations do you need to give to be able to do that? How many appointments do you need to go on to give those listing presentations, and so on and so forth up the funnel? How many contacts do you need to make every day to set those appointments? And how many leads do you need to have to set that number of contacts every day? And that's what it comes down to, is how many people do I need to talk to today to buy a new house at the end of the year, or to buy that new Corvette, or to whatever it is, right? Whatever that annual goal is, number of transactions, what do I need to do today? The downside is here we are, we're entering Q4 here in just about a week or so. And many of us are going to look at our business and go, oh man, I'm way behind. What have I been doing for 9 months? Because I wanted to get 40 transactions this year and I'm at 12. The downside, the reason that happened is because we failed somewhere along the way to look at this process and then analyze it along the way so that we have a predictable understanding of our numbers. Again, this is what those top prospectors have done. They've understood the numbers to know I've got to talk to X amount of people today to set X amount of appointments, okay? That annual goal, planning for the future, is the number one thing that these agents are doing. Step number 2 of the Olympian method is to prepare for the day. Okay, we've prepared for the big picture. Now let's figure out how on a daily basis we're going to prepare for our day, right? Now, just like an Olympian, if you've ever analyzed any Olympic athletes' routine, it begins early. It begins early. For some of these, it's going to be as early as 4:30 in the morning. Now, I don't expect every single person to take this webinar and say, okay, I'm setting my alarm for 4:30 tomorrow morning. In fact, some of you are probably rolling your eyes going, I didn't even know there was a 4:30 in the morning, right? There's two 4:30s in the day, but it does begin earlier than most, and that's what's crucial here. It begins as early as 4:30 from these interviews and these top prospectors that we've worked with. They prepare for the day first by preparing their body. They understand that arriving early at the gym and exercising for 45 minutes to an hour, that there's a benefit that comes to that. And what we found is these top prospectors are on average exercising at a gym, a formal exercise routine, at least 3 times a week for 45 minutes to an hour. Studies show that exercise boosts confidence. It helps wake up the body. For many of you, it's going to help wake you up better than that cup of coffee. Our own research here at REDX shows that agents who average more than $250,000 a year of net commission income are averaging 3 days a week at the gym. Now, one of the big things that people say is, well, I just don't have time to do that. Well, they have the same 24 hours in the day that you and I do, and somehow they do it. It's a matter of priority. They recognize that their level of success is directly linked to physical health and that dedication that they have to that every single day. Now, by 6:30, typically as early as 6:30, let me put that in there, they are arriving at the office. Now, what they're going to start doing is preparing the mind. They've spent time exercising at the gym, preparing for the day, having a healthy breakfast, and now they're arriving at the office. You can see this is earlier than most. A lot of agents aren't arriving till 7:30, 8:30, sometimes much later, and this is earlier, but they're doing this so they have time to prepare their mind for their day. By 6:45, typically what they're doing is they're having an accountability check. This is going to be with a mastermind group. It could be your coach or trainer. It could be a mentor. It could even just be your broker if your broker's involved on a daily basis like that. And during that accountability check, the main thing they're doing is reporting on the goals that they set yesterday. What did I commit to do yesterday, and did I do it? And what they're going to do is identify reasons for reaching that goal or reasons for not reaching that goal, and then set new goals for the day as they relate to the monthly and annual goals, right? And if they didn't reach the goal yesterday, what these top prospectors are doing is saying, okay, well, I need to make up for that today. So if yesterday my goal was 35 contacts and I only hit 14, I need to make up the difference to make sure that I'm still on track for that, my monthly and therefore my annual goals, right? So they're having that accountability check first thing in the morning to say, did I do what I was going to do yesterday, and did I accomplish it? Now, from there, they're moving on to a mindset preparation, right? This is going to be something that has to do with gratitude or a success mindset. A growth mindset is a very commonly used phrase in positive psychology. They're determining and setting their growth mindset. At 7 a.m., typically they're spending 10 to 15 minutes in some sort of meditation, positive affirmations, even journaling about things that made them happy the previous day, or 3 things they're grateful for. They're cultivating the mindset that they need to face the day. Now, here at REDX, for the past 7 years, as I've been managing the sales department and sales reps here, every single day, what we do is we start with a team huddle. We all get on the same page, and the purpose of that huddle is to go over accountability, report on our goals, just like these top agents are doing. But we start that huddle with something that we call good news. Every single person goes around and shares something positive that's happening. It could be a win from a conversation with a customer yesterday, or it could be something in their personal life that they're happy about or looking forward to. But what it does is it trains the brain to actually identify positive things in their life, right? They're avoiding what's called the Tetris effect, which is an actual study based on the game of Tetris that creates neural pathways in somebody's brain to say, hey, I'm going to put these shapes in this order in this place. But even after playing Tetris, people are still seeing shapes in their everyday life, right? They're creating a neural pathway. They're creating a road for their brain to travel. I train my reps to create neural pathways and roads that help them to identify the positive things so that they can best set themselves up for success. Now, these agents are doing the same thing. They're arriving early in the morning, earlier than most, as I've shown, to create the mindset that they're going to need to reach their production goals for the day. And they do this every single day. They get up every single day and they go through this process to prepare their body, prepare their mind, and move right into step 3, which is to prepare for their calls, prepare for their prospecting, which is an important thing to note, is their prospecting is a consistent thing every day. They're scheduling this in advance on their calendar so that they know that Monday through Friday, with the exception of maybe something that the broker requires of them for a meeting or a training, they know that prospecting begins first, generating new business from new contacts. Now, so by about 7:15, what they're doing is they're doing some sort of visualization. For some people, it's going to be visualization, maybe a broad term, but for some people, it's going to be getting amped. They're going to turn on some AC/DC and dance in the office, or they're going to power pose with their arms up in the air and their chest out. It could be an actual visualization. For those that are doing that, just like an Olympian's going to visualize their routine, their race, or their event, these prospectors are visualizing picking up the phone, right? If somebody says this, what am I going to say? How am I going to overcome these objections? They're visualizing themselves, setting the appointments, creating listing presentations, etc. They're going through a visualization to make sure that they're best prepared for success. Now, typically by 7:30, there's some sort of role play. They're going right into a role play of the things they've just visualized. They're finding role play partners in their offices, their coaching programs. The REDX Facebook page is a fantastic community that we've created where you can go and find role play partners from all over the country. And some agents I talk to look and think that they're above role playing, like, oh, I'm already really good at speaking to people on the phone. For some reason, they feel it isn't worth their time. Let me share some things about these top prospectors that may help emphasize how crucial role play is for you, right? We've got a customer in California by the name of Edward Estrada, and Edward Estrada is one of these guys that takes role play extremely seriously in his business. What he's doing is he schedules 5 role play partners throughout the week, one for every day of the week, and he typically role plays with those people twice per week, once in the morning, and you're going to see when these top prospectors are doing an afternoon role play as well, or one later in the day. And what he does is he fires his role play partners every 2 months. And the reason why is because he wants to never be too comfortable with the scenarios that those partners are going to throw at him. And so what he's doing is he's changing it up every 2 months to make sure that he can always be practicing his presentation, his prospecting, his objection handlers in order to best set him up for success. Now, just think for a second about the work that goes into coordinating a process like this. He's got to identify partners every 2 months, 5 of them. He's got to coordinate schedules and then commit to 2 role plays every single day with these people. If this wasn't important, it would be really easy to cut this process from his prospecting methods. But Edward does it faithfully because he knows that practice makes perfect. Just like Michael Phelps or Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan, and some of these guys aren't active athletes anymore, but I recognize that. They're also recognized to be some of the best that have ever played in the game. And these guys had coaches and they practiced their routine every single day. And just like Edward Estrada and just like a professional athlete, an Olympic athlete, we should be practicing what we're going to say every single day by doing a role play with these people. And the results show. The results show for the people that consistently role play in their business. Now, step 4 of the Olympian method is the actual prospecting, is picking up the phone after several hours of preparation and actually prospecting. Right now, the prospecting routine, I'm going to take you through this. The prospecting routine is done daily, 5 days per week, the occasional weekend session, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. They have multiple prospecting sessions per day. Typically, they're doing a morning prospecting session beginning at 8 a.m. By 9 or 10, a lot of the leads have already been contacted, and in fact, they've already got listing appointments set with other agents in your area. These top prospectors are on the phone at 8 o'clock, and that morning prospecting session is the most robust. It's typically going to be 2 to 4 hours. For many of these top prospectors, they take it right up to lunch, and that's the time that they spend generating new business from new contacts. Now, they're going to have afternoon prospecting sessions, perhaps not every single day, but multiple times per week. They're going to have an afternoon prospecting session, typically 1 to 2 hours is what they're dedicating to that, and an evening prospecting session at least once per week. Now, this is going to be most effective between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. They're setting up their prospecting schedule to make sure that that one evening prospecting session every week is done between 5 and 7 p.m. And then weekends on occasion, right? So this might be, and my recommendation for people is typically plan one weekend a month to do a little prospecting. If you're going to prospect on the weekend, Saturdays before noon and Sundays after 6 p.m. are the most successful time blocks for you to be contacting people via telephone. And so this is what these top prospectors' routines look like on a regular basis. They're prospecting every morning, multiple afternoons, at least one weekend, or excuse me, at least one evening every week, and at least one weekend every single month. Now, here's what this morning prospecting routine looks like, because a lot of times when I say, hey, you want to schedule 2 to 4 hours to prospect, people in the back of their heads are going, what am I going to do for 2 hours, let alone 4, right? Well, let's look at what these top prospectors are doing. Let's look at how they organize their leads. We call this a lead stack. How do they stack their leads to make sure that they are most successful during every single prospecting session? Well, they're going to begin by calling at 8 a.m. Again, if you start at 8:15 or 8:30 or 8:45, your competitors, the other agents in your area who are gunning for the business that you're trying to get, have already been making those phone calls and setting listing appointments, taking money out of your pocket. Begin calling by 8 a.m. every single morning. Typically, these top prospectors are starting with the brand new expireds and FSBOs. It's the low-hanging fruit. If you've never picked fruit off a tree before, let me give you a piece of advice. Never start with the fruit at the top. You pick the fruit at the bottom first, because that's the easiest fruit to pick. Now, for those of us who have picked apples off a tree, we know that already. You pick the apples that are right in front of your face, right hanging low. That's what these agents are doing. They're prospecting the brand new expireds and FSBOs. These are people who already want to sell, and for the expired listings have already enlisted the help of an agent to do so. 92% of your FSBOs are going to end up using the assistance of an agent anyway, and so the odds are very good that these people are going to continue to sell their house. Now, nobody puts their house on the market. Nobody puts their house on the market with the intention of it not selling. So if someone has the intention to sell their home, it means that they're already making life changes for that major change in their life to move to a new home. Expireds and FSBOs come first. These are the leads that these top prospectors are starting with, because these are the ones that convert the best. Now, right after that, they're going into a second role play. They're going over the objections that they just received to make sure that they don't ruin their morale. Maybe they got somebody angry on the phone, and they're going to make sure that the morale stays high. They're going to make sure that their determination, their mood, their mindset stays where it needs to be. That's why they're going to do this role play. It's typically going to be short. They're just going over the objections that they received during that first call session, and then they're jumping right back into the expireds and FSBOs that are less than 1 week old. Right? They're looking at these that there's a strong chance that these have not relisted yet on the MLS, or for the FSBOs have not listed with an agent yet, and so they jump right into those. From there, these top prospectors are going into what we've called them hot leads. These are leads that, regardless of the source, it could be expireds or FSBOs or your sphere of influence or referrals or anything else, but these are leads that you've previously had a conversation with but have not yet set an appointment. In other words, the progress has stopped. And so this is the part where you're going to try to move the ball down the field a little bit more. You're going to move the needle a little bit more to try to get that person to set a listing appointment. These are an extremely successful period of time, because you've already verified phone numbers. You're calling and connecting one right after the other with these hot leads. Now, from there, what these agents are doing is they're jumping into what we call GeoLeads that we've talked about, these geographic-based lead types. Now, the benefit here is you have an endless supply of those GeoLeads, meaning if you're done at 8:45 with all of your expireds and FSBOs and your hot leads, then you can jump right into the GeoLeads and still have enough to make your prospecting session all the way till noon. Or if 11:45 rolls around, you still have leads available for you to call from 11:45 to 12. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the 4 different techniques that we have found to be most successful when prospecting these GeoLeads. So again, have that notepad and paper out. This is where it's going to get really good. We're going to get into some good stuff here. Technique number 1, when prospecting to a GeoLead is what we call inventory control. The purpose of inventory control is to sell the listings that you have that have spent more than 30 days on market. Now, you may adjust that 30 days on market. Nationwide, our average days on market right now is less than 45 days. So if you're in an area where 17 days on market is average, then adjust that. This is where you're going to sell your listings with more than 17 days on market, more than average days on market, but typically 30 is a good number to start with. This is what you're going to do. Is you're going to input the address of that particular listing into a GeoLeads tool, and it's going to generate the list of 100 of the closest neighbors, whether that's a street, a subdivision, or an area. You're going to get the 100 closest homes to that particular property, and then you're going to call and you're going to use this following script. Okay. You're going to say, hello, my name is Tyler. I'm a local real estate agent. I'm calling you about a property that I've listed, and you're going to give some geographical reference down the street, around the corner. It's just west of you. I'm working hard, and that's a key phrase. I'm working hard to get that property sold for my clients. Are you aware of anyone who might be interested in moving into the area? How non-confrontational of a script is that? You can call a person out of the blue and say, hey, look, I'm working hard for my client. Are you aware of anybody who might be interested in moving into the area? Now, the typical answer that you're going to get is either yes, no, or maybe. Super simple, super non-confrontational, easy thing to get. And you're going to follow up with this question. Do you know of anyone looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? And again, they're going to respond with yes, no, or maybe. And then you're going to follow up with this. Are you looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Now take a good look, guys and gals, at these bottom two questions right here. Do you know of anybody looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Are you looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Put a mental sticky note or mental check mark next to those, because these are the ones that I really want you to focus on right here. You're gonna see these consistently through these techniques. But as you follow this script, what's gonna happen is you're going to generate buyers for your listings. You're going to earn your commission, essentially. You're going to find the buyers that you need for those listings that have not yet sold just by being on the MLS and through the other marketing things that you're currently doing. You're picking up the phone, you're working hard for your clients and fulfilling that. Now, what's going to happen is as you do that, you're also going to pick up new clients. You're going to generate new listing appointments from those two key questions. Are you looking to buy, or do you know anybody looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Are you looking to buy or sell? Because inevitably what's going to happen is people are going to say, oh yeah, my sister or my neighbor or so-and-so is going to, here's their number, or let me give them your information, right? You're going to set new listing appointments as you attempt to find buyers for your current listings that have no movement, that have no traffic on them. Technique number 2 is what I call keeping the seller promise, right? You've made a promise to find buyers for your listings. Now, that might sound very similar to the inventory control, but let me show you how this differs here. What you're going to do is you're going to go on any listing appointment. Okay, whether that came from your prospecting or a referral or whatever it is, you're going on any listing appointment. When you walk out of that listing with a new contract in hand, because that's how we visualize things, you're walking out of that listing appointment with a new contract in hand, you're going to knock 5 doors to the right and 5 doors to the left. You're going to knock those doors, and as they answer the door, you're going to go through this following script. You're going to say, hi, my name is Tyler. I'm a local real estate agent. I've just listed your neighbor's home, the Joneses, and make a reference to the neighbors, right? They're just right there around the corner, or right next door even. And they're going to go, oh yeah, we know the Joneses. Great, I've listed their home at $329,000. I'm going to be hosting an open house this Saturday at 2 p.m. I would like to personally invite you to attend. Okay, now they're going to say yes, no, or maybe, or they're just going to go, oh, okay. And you're going to follow up with these 2 key questions. Do you know anybody interested in buying or selling in the next 30 days? And are you interested in buying or selling in the next 30 days? Again, there's those 2 key questions, right? We have a new contact that we've made, Mr. Jones's neighbor. We've just contacted them. That's somebody that we want to leverage in every way to try to generate new listings from new business from new contacts, right? This is how these top prospectors are generating listing appointments every day, is by prospecting even amongst their other tasks. They're having these contacts and they're asking these questions. Do you know anybody interested in buying or selling in the next 30 days? Are you interested in buying or selling your home in the next 30 days? Now, here's what happens when you go through this process. Excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. Then you're going to return for your afternoon prospecting session. Okay, these top prospectors will return. They're going to call up to 500 of the closest homes to this new listing. Okay, and they're going to go through and follow the same script that they just followed on the door. Hi, I just listed a home around the corner from you for $329,000. I'd like to personally invite you to an open house that I'm hosting this Saturday. Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Are you looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Okay, and then what's going to happen is they're going to attempt to call the homes that didn't answer the phone twice more before the Saturday open house. Now, here's what's so funny about open houses. I get people that shake their heads all the time. They go, open houses don't work. You're right. When no one shows up, open houses don't work. But if every agent went through this process to generate traffic for their open house, open houses would work, because I can attest that these open houses, when you've made the attempt to generate traffic, these open houses produce, because you've spent the time to get people there. Okay. Now, here's what happens when you use this seller promise technique. Number one, you're going to generate buyers for your listing, and you're going to do it quickly. You're going to find people who go, oh yeah, I know somebody looking to move into the area. Let me give you their number, right? You're also going to double side far more transactions than any other method of generating business. And we all love taking home a full 6%. So you're going to double side more transactions by using this method, because you're talking to more people, generating more contacts, and communicating with more people who are not already working with a realtor. You're also going to generate traffic for your open house. And just like the other technique, you're going to generate new listing appointments as you ask those two key questions. Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Are you looking to buy or sell your home in the next 30 days? Okay, moving on. Technique number 3, this is your typical just sold campaign. Okay, this is where you're advertising your ability to sell homes in a neighborhood. We all love to be the go-to guy for any given neighborhood. This is the way that we do it. When you sell a property, or even if it's a property in your office, or if you want to be really ambitious, any property that sells in a neighborhood, you're going to input that address into the GeoLeads tool. You're going to generate a list of 100 of the closest homes and the homeowner contact information with that tool. And then you're going to call to notify them that your listing has recently sold. And you're going to go through and follow this script. Hi, my name is Tyler. I'm a local real estate agent. I recently sold a home, or a home recently sold in your neighborhood. And that home sold, or we sold it for 98% or 102% of asking price in only 35 days or 14 days or whatever. This is where you're going to build your credibility. So whatever statistic you need to put in there that's honest and truthful and real, you want to put that in there that's going to build some credibility. If you don't have that credibility yourself, use that of your team, your broker, your company, right? Get bigger and bigger if you have to say, my company sells more homes than any other company in the area, or whatever, right? But you're going to share some interesting statistic. We sold it for 102% of asking price in only 35 days. Right now is such a great time to sell because markets are hot, interest rates are low, there's low inventory, supply, demand, et cetera. Whatever it is that you're interjecting in there based on where the market conditions are, you're going to say that, and you're going to follow up with, do you know anybody who are looking to buy or sell their home with similar results? That's one change to these two questions is, are you looking to, or do you know of anybody looking to buy or sell their home with similar results in the next 30 days? That is such a powerful phrase, because yes, people want similar results. When you say 102% of asking price in 35 days, they want similar results, and you're going to follow it up with, are you interested in buying or selling your home with results like this in the next 30 days? Again, that small change with results like this in the next 30 days. Here's what's going to happen when you go through this technique, this just sold campaign. Number one, you're going to generate listing appointments in the same area where you already have an established real estate presence. Do you know what happens when people see your face on 2 yard signs in the same neighborhood? They start to recognize you as an authority. And that's what we want. We want to be the authority in every area. And when we can get listing appointments in one area, we want to duplicate that over and over and over. You're also going to get new listing appointments from new contacts. Again, asking those two key questions is so non-confrontational, and it's so easy to do. Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Are you looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? In fact, these questions you should be asking people at the grocery store. You should be asking people at the gas station, wherever you run into people and have a contact. Those are the questions that you're asking. Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Are you looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? I'm going to repeat those questions at least another 10 times before this webinar is done, because I want it ingrained in you. Okay, technique number 4. This is what we call land and expand, right? This is where you're going to generate new opportunities. You're going to move into new areas. Now, whether we want to or we have to, we always want to expand expand our business, whether that's geographically or to be more efficient. We want to grow. And the way that you're going to do this is you're going to log into your MLS. You're going to identify cities or areas with a high homes listed to homes sold to homes listed ratio in the last 90 days. Now you want to look at it in the last 90 days. Look at it as a rolling 90-day average. So that's why you're doing this every day. It's not just something where you go, okay, now I'm going to pound this for the next 90 days. You want to look at areas where homes are moving now, right? So if the average homeowner buys a home every 7 years, first, go target those homes, the neighborhoods that were built 7 years ago. That's probably a good place to start. And then what you're going to do is you're going to calculate this for 3 different areas. Pick the areas with the best ratio, the area where most homes are moving, most homes are selling in the last 90 days. Now, you're going to plug those into your GeoLeads tool using a central address or drawing boundaries around that area. And what's going to happen is you're going to generate a list of all the homeowner contact information for all the homes in that area, and you're going to call using this script. You're going to say, hi, I'm Tyler. I'm a local real estate agent. I'm calling because there's been a high turnover of homes in your area in the last 90 days. Now, I sell homes faster or for more money or with less headache or whatever your claim to being a great agent is, whatever your unique selling proposition is, insert here. I sell homes faster than 80% of the agents in this area. Now, again, if you don't have those statistics, look at your team, your brokerage, or your company and use those statistics, right? My company sells more homes than any other company in the area. And then you're going to follow up with, do you know anyone looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? And are you looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Those are the same 2 questions that you're asking. I want to pound those into your brain. I want those to be their own neural pathway that every time you talk to somebody, when you hang up the phone with your mom, I want you to say, hey mom, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? And are you looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? I want that to be so ingrained in you that you're asking that 30 times a day, 50 times a day to everybody you come in contact with. Now, here's the result of using this land and expand method. Number 1, you're going to move into new areas efficiently. That last word right there being the key word. You're going to move into those new areas efficiently. From there, you're going to generate new business from new clients. That's the whole purpose of prospecting. We want to generate new business from new clients. You're going to set new listing appointments, and you're going to reach your daily goal for contacts every day by using this tool to generate leads on demand. That way, if you've got an hour left in a prospecting session, you go, I could turn on Netflix, which you'd be surprised at how often that happens. Or it's going to be, I'm going to go plug in some addresses here, and I'm going to start calling, and I'm going to move into this new area efficiently. I'm going to generate new business from new contacts, and I'm going to reach my daily contact goal, which helps me reach my weekly, my monthly, my quarterly, and therefore my annual goal, and in becoming a top prospector. Now, here's the results of prospecting GeoLeads in general. A couple testimonials here. When I get a listing appointment, I want another 2 to 3 listings in that neighborhood very quickly within the next 2 weeks. Mike Ferry says you got to outwork and outnumber them. So I outnumber the signs in a neighborhood with GeoLeads, door knocking and calling. I go after the neighborhood when I take a listing or sell. It's a predictable and duplicable source of business, from REDX customer Stephen Liu. Another one, REDX customer Michelle Holt. I'm a new agent. My first prospecting session using GeoLeads, I prospected for 35 minutes, made 6 contacts, 6 good conversations in 35 minutes, and generated 1 hot lead, a builder who wants to sell and build a relationship with a great real estate professional. I love GeoLeads because you are the expert when you're calling on a neighborhood. No one else is. Wouldn't we all love to put that on our business card and have it mean somebody? The expert in your neighborhood. That's what we want. That's absolutely what we want. Now, I've showed you the methods that these top agents are going that they're doing. I've showed you the techniques that agents are using to generate contacts on demand, set listing appointments every day using GeoLeads. But the question I get most often at this point is, how do I generate the phone numbers for those neighborhoods, right? Because you could go drive around and knock on doors, but that is hugely time consuming. REDX has the most amazing GeoLeads tool that you will see on the market. We call it GeoLeads, is the name of our product. And so you can have all your leads, your expireds, your FSBOs, your for rent by owners, your pre-foreclosures, your dialer, and your GeoLeads all in one place. I'm going to show you right now what it looks like. I'm actually going to jump into a live demo. I'm in my Vortex, so hopefully everybody's looking at my screen right there. This is Vortex, REDX's lead manager. If it's been a while since you've been with Vortex, this may be new to you. This may be something very different than what you're familiar with. But this is our cloud-based lead management platform. And our GeoLeads tool is so amazing. Now, over here, I can see my expireds, my geos, my FSBOs for rent by owners, foreclosures, my imports, the leads that I get from other sources that I want to put in here, like my sphere of influence, for example. And you can see right here that we're currently looking at the expired listings. Now, let's say I'm going through and I'm prospecting to these expired listings. And I set a listing appointment. Well, then what I can do is I can check this box right here and hit this GeoLeads tool, and it'll automatically populate the address right there into this GeoLeads tool. And then I've got some options. I can do some filtering here. We talked about that, the land and expand method, where we want to see homes that are moving, neighborhoods where properties are moving quickly. So I could come in here and I could say, I want to show properties that have been owned at least 12 months. Or maybe I want to own homes that at least 2 years, for example. I want to search in a given neighborhood, or maybe I want to search a boundary, or maybe I want to search on the specific street, this 1340 North in Orem, Utah. And then I want to produce the nearest 200 properties. I'm going to hit preview and watch what happens here. It's going to preview this and drop all these pins on the map for me. And you can see now I'm looking at the 200 closest properties to that new listing appointment that I've just set. Now look at these gray ones here. You can see here this little key, there's 42 properties that have been owned less than 2 years. So we're looking at about 20% of the homes in this area have sold in the last 2 years. Right? Now, if I hit this Get Leads button, it's going to spit out the contact information for every single one of these properties so that I can then go through and prospect to each one of these. So it works beautifully. It works so simply when you're prospecting. You're setting a list appointment for your expireds or your FSBOs. You just check the box there, you hit that GeoLeads, and you're on your way. But what about maybe you're not prospecting? Maybe you're done prospecting your other leads for the day, and you go, okay, I just need to move into an area. Well, I can hit this GeoLeads tool, and I'm just going to plug in an address here. I just type in any address, and I want to say, yeah, you know what, show me anything in the last 12 months. I want up to 2 phone numbers per lead, and I want the nearest, give me the nearest 50 homes. Maybe that's all I have time to prospect to right now. I hit preview, and it's going to drop these pins on the map for me. There we go. And you can see here it's got a couple of properties that have been owned less than 12 months. So those ones have sold recently, but the rest of these properties, these blue ones right here, these are the ones I want to prospect to. So for the sake of time, I'm going to say, let's just say 25. I've got 15 minutes to prospect. I want to look at the closest 25 properties to this one. I'm going to hit Get Leads. And you can see right over here under my GeoLeads folder, it automatically created a folder for me that shows that address that I've plugged in there. And here are the 25. You can see I'm looking at this folder. There's the 25 leads in that folder, the 25 closest properties with owner names, phone numbers. Now, this is my personal address, and I've gone through each one of these and verified that each one of these has a phone number for my neighbors. This information is here so that if I wanted to, I could immediately hit this dial button, launch right into my Storm dialer, pound through these 25 calls with my Storm dialer. That can be as short as 15 or 20 minutes. I can pound through these, have the connections that I need, have the conversations and contacts that I need, ask the 2 key questions to each one of these people. Do you know anyone looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days, or are you looking to buy or sell your home in the next 30 days, and move on? Now, let me show you just a couple other things here. As I go in, I've showed you how to search by neighborhood. Let me just put an address in here again. I showed you how to search by neighborhood, which basically just searches the closest 25. But what if I want to do a boundary? Maybe I want to come and go, you know what, I don't want these houses right here. So I'm going to come and drop a pin. I'm going to drop a pin here, come up to this street, maybe over to this one. I'm going to come down the highway there and come here. I can essentially draw a map around a given subdivision or a neighborhood, and maybe I want to exclude the part of the neighborhood that isn't ideal for my selling, and just focus on these and hit preview. And what it's going to do, it's going to drop those in there. I want to expand that up. It's going to drop and show me all of those homes within that given area, and then I can again hit that Get Leads button and get that all of those homeowner contact information generated for all these properties, so that I can go through and prospect to these GeoLeads. It could be surrounding an expired listing. It could be surrounding a property I've just listed or one that I've just sold, or it could be in a new area using that land and expand method, a neighborhood that I know is ideal because homes are moving, but I don't have any business there yet, right? So I can do all of that. Now, here's what's so fantastic about the GeoLead tool and using it in tandem with the other REDX leads here. Here's a good example of one that's right down here. This is a GeoLead, but you see it's got a couple of different icons there. Those icons will correspond with the different lead types up here. What REDX does is we search all of the lead types that you have on your account with the other lead types you have. So we'll search the expireds against the FSBOs. We'll search the for rent by owners against the pre-foreclosures. We'll go through and search all of those properties to tell you, hey, here's a for sale by owner that is also an expired listing, meaning it helps you craft the conversation and say, hey, I noticed that your home expired and then you went and put it on the market. Are you trying to sell it your own? Tell me why. Help me understand the decision behind that. And you can follow your script having a better understanding of exactly what that homeowner is going through. They tried to sell, they couldn't, now they're a FSBO, right? This one in particular is a GeoLead because it popped up in that search there. It looks like it's also a property that sold recently, but it looks like it's also one that is in pre-foreclosure in some way, shape, or form. And so I can now craft the conversation. I can do that with my filtering tool another way. If I come in and I want to show all my expireds, for example, and come in and go more filters, I want to search anything that has multiple lead types. And what it's going to do is it's going to spit out all the leads that are in my database here that have multiple lead types. So you can see there's a number of expireds that are also have an auction date set. It looks like that's probably why they expired. Here's one that's still in pre-foreclosure. I would love to call that one and set a listing appointment there. Fantastic, easy to use product to make sure that you are leveraging all of your leads in the most efficient way to make sure that you are prospecting effectively. And it's as simple as using this GeoLeads tool to plug in an address, to check the box on a particular property that you'd like to prospect around. You can filter and see those homes that have been sold in the last 3 years or 6 months or whatever it might be. I want the nearest 300 homes. Hit preview. You can take a look, and as soon as you know that those are the leads that you want to prospect to, it's going to spit out all the contact information. And I showed you how fast that process is when I pulled those 25 leads. It was literally in the time that it took me to finish my sentence, it spit out the contact information for all of those leads. With your standard residential internet connection, it's going to spit out a list of leads like this, 300 in a very short amount of time, 30 to 60 seconds tops. And so you'll have that information efficiently to make sure that you can prospect efficiently, quickly, and productively. Okay, let's just recap a little bit. Let's summarize what we've seen so far. Okay, we've seen how top prospectors use the GeoLeads tool to generate leads and contacts on demand. Essentially, if they run out of people to talk to and therefore can't set more contacts, they simply turn a neighborhood or a street or a subdivision into a workable list of leads with phone numbers generated so that they can prospect. I've shown you how they're doing that. I've shown you how they consistently set listing appointments with those 4 GeoLeads prospecting techniques and the 2 key questions that go along with every single one of them, and hopefully every conversation that you have moving forward is, are you looking to buy, or do you know anyone looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days, and are you looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? I've showed you some of the results that people are seeing prospecting to GeoLeads. And if you're someone who really wants to do what it takes to hit their daily contact goal and therefore hit your annual goals, or maybe you're already doing that and you simply want an all-in-one approach to prospecting, you're probably wondering, how can I implement all of the tactics and all the strategies that Tyler's just shown me? I don't want to make a tremendous investment of time or money. How do I do that? Well, here's what you get when you sign up for our GeoLeads service. Okay, I'm going to show you what we're doing, and I'm going to make you a special offer here in just a minute, so don't go away. Number one, you're going to get the filtering tools that that Vortex has. You're going to be able to filter areas, homes that have been sold, that sort of thing, to help you identify things like turnover. It's going to cross-check those against the other REDX leads that you have, whether that's your expireds, your for rent by owners, your FSBOs. It's going to go through all of those and cross-check so that you'll be able to craft a better conversation to say, hey, homeowner, I know that your home expired. And I know that next door the home just sold to just sold. So let's figure out what's going on here and get your home back on the market, priced where it needs to be to sell it correctly. When you sign up for the GeoLeads service, you'll be able to pull the GeoLeads within the MLS boundaries for the MLS that you're a paying member of. You're going to get a seamlessly integrated system for your GeoLeads right into Vortex and the Storm Dialer that REDX provides. You can search properties on your list, like I showed you, or you can search unique properties simply by entering something manually. Now, typically, the GeoLeads cost $600 per year. It's normally $50 a month. When you sign up for them today, I'm going to give you actually the next few days for you to sign up for these GeoLeads. I'm going to give them to you free for 30 days when you purchase any other REDX tool or lead, whether that's the dialer, the FSBOs, the expireds, the for rent by owners, which are such a hot listing lead source right now. The for rent by owners, that is a fantastic lead source. Any one of those that you purchase for a 30-day commitment, you're on a month-to-month plan, I'm going to give you the GeoLeads free for 30 days. Now, when you sign up for any of these and we generate leads for you, whether it's your expireds, your FSBOs, your for rent by owners, your pre-foreclosures, or your GeoLeads, when you cancel your account with REDX, you get to keep those leads. They're yours. We've given them to you, and you'll still have access to them. You'll even still have access to the Vortex Lead Manager to be able to log in and manage them. Without a paid subscription, obviously new leads won't come in, but the leads that you get in the next 30 days from REDX, whether that's your expireds or your GeoLeads or both, you're going to be able to keep those as long as you have that login information, which you're going to have written down, hopefully on a sticky note somewhere so that you don't lose it. This is going to allow you to generate your contacts on demand. It's going to allow you to reach your daily contact goals, which is ultimately what we're going for. Daily contact goals mean weekly contact goals, mean monthly contact goals, mean annual contact goals. That means we reach our annual goals that we set. If you're currently using another product out there, I'm going to allow you to transition seamlessly to an all-in-one platform. We have fantastic customer support that will help you every step of the way to train you, to help you be successful at what it is that you're doing. Ultimately, we'll let you dip your toe in the water. There's no long-term commitment. If you want to do this month to month, you can. If you want to pay for the year up front and be really ambitious, we'll give you some discounts to do that as well. Essentially, again, we're going to give you the GeoLeads free for 30 days when you with any purchase of any other REDX tool for 30 days. Now, here's how you get it. It's super simple. I'm going to put this phone number right here. That's our toll-free 800 number, 800-731-7339, and then you're going to use this code, tell them, hey, GeoLeads today. They'll figure out which other lead type or tool you want to purchase, and then they're going to add the GeoLeads on there absolutely free for you to use for 30 days. Now, it wouldn't be a great REDX webinar unless I was going to give you some extra content at the end as well. So if you take advantage of this in the next 4 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the step-by-step guide to the Olympian method, right? Inevitably, there's going to be a question whether or not I'm going to share the slide deck. I'll answer that question right now, no, but I do have all of this put into an ebook for you. It's a step-by-step guide to the Olympian method. I'm also going to give you the 26-page REDX script ebook with not only the scripts that I've showed you today, but the scripts for all of our lead types that we provide. I'm also going to send you the inside audio interviews with the top REDX prospectors who helped us create the Olympian method. This content alone, guys and gals, is phenomenal. These are top prospecting agents taking 17, 20, 25 listings every month from their prospecting efforts. And we have an open Q&A that we're going to send to you, an audio recording where they get to tell us what it is that they're doing so that you can be successful. I'm also going to send you the wildly popular, and I put wildly in there, it has been wildly popular. It's a GeoLeads top prospector Q&A call. What we did is we got on with some of these top prospectors and asked them questions from you specifically about prospecting. It is phenomenal. This content is amazing. This is some really, really good stuff. I'm going to send all of this to you absolutely free when you sign up for those GeoLeads free for 30 days with any other purchase to REDX leads or tools. So guys and gals, if you want to generate contacts on demand, if you want to regularly reach your daily goal of new contacts, if you want to set listing appointments every single day, maybe it's just that you want to have all your leads and tools in one place without messy integrations and syncs and importing and exporting. Ultimately, if you want to be a top prospector, do what the top prospectors do and find the success that the top prospectors have. REDX GeoLeads is going to be the tool that's going to help you get there. And again, when you sign up for that in the next few days, I'm going to give you this step-by-step guide to the Olympian method. Everything that we've gone through on this particular webinar. I'm going to give you the 26-page REDX script ebook that shows you all the scripts, including those that I've gone through today. I'm also going to give you the inside audio interviews with the agents who helped us create the webinar and the GeoLeads Top Prospector Q&A call. Again, here's how you get it. 800-731-7339, and then use the code GeoLeads today when you speak to any of the sales reps here. They're going to be able to help you get up and running with that. Now, I promised at the beginning that we'd go through and answer some questions. I want to do that now. I'm scrolling through here. I'm getting down. We have a lot of people on this webinar today, guys and gals. Give me just a second to get to where the questions are. Let me see here. There's several questions right here at the beginning. Is this recorded? It looks like people had to step out for whatever. Is this recorded? Yes, I did record this webinar. I don't have a plan to share it or post it anywhere just yet, but we will figure out how to do that here, and we'll figure out how to get a copy to some of the people who had to step away here. Let's see. Again, here's questions. Do we get the slide deck? No, but when you do get signed up, I'm going to make sure that you get the Olympian method. Can you send me this? No. Do we have cell phone numbers? That's a fantastic question. REDX has been searching cell phone numbers in our data for both our expireds and pre-foreclosures, and now for our GeoLeads since 2010. Yes, we are absolutely finding cell phone numbers and providing those to you so that you can contact people on their cell phone. Ultimately, what REDX has done is we've made sure that when you're calling on REDX data, the leads that we're providing to you, that you have the best chance of getting a hold of the most people. And that's really what it comes down to. Ultimately, you don't care if it's a landline or a cell phone so long as they answer it. What we've done is we've made nearly 1 million data phone calls, test phone calls in the last few years, testing data to make sure that we're giving you the best opportunity to talk to the most people. Cell phones is one part of that equation. So absolutely. The do not call registry. What about the do not call registry? Every phone number that we provide, whether it's for the GeoLeads or the expireds or any other property that's in your vortex, the phone numbers are scrubbed against the do not call registry, and we flag those very plainly to show you, hey, this is on the do not call registry or this is not. Now, in our Storm Dialer, there are even settings for you to say, hey, I want to exclude all of the phone numbers on the do not call registry. I get lots of questions about whether or not you can call on the do not call registry. My recommendation would be remain do not call compliant. If you have questions about what that means, communicate with your broker. That's one thing that they can help you understand is how that affects real estate agents particularly. Let's see, once you identify a home, I need to click away from the webinar here to get into all these questions. Once you identify a home or homes you want to prospect, how do you obtain phone numbers to call? I answered that by showing you the demo to the GeoLeads. You plug that into the GeoLeads tool and it spits out all the contact information for you. Can you export the data? Absolutely. If you want to take the data from Vortex and put it into something else, you can absolutely do that. Some people do that to put it into other dialers, to put it into their top producer, or whatever other CRM platform they're using. Absolutely, you can export that GeoLead data to do that. Again, cell phone numbers or home numbers? Yes, both. Can we generate mailing labels for postcards? Absolutely. We do have a mail merge feature built in for you to generate mailing labels, and my support staff can easily teach you how to do that. Does it work for Toronto, Canada? Oh, my Canadian customers, we love our Canadian customers. GeoLeads is not a tool for Canada yet. That is something that we're working on. If you are from Canada and you're here on this webinar, feel free to put your email address into the questions there. I'll make sure that we send you the bonuses just for being here on the webinar with me. I'll get those sent out to you. I thank you for being on here, but we're not quite ready for Canada yet with the GeoLeads. What message do you leave on an answering machine? You know what? That's a question that we could spend a lot of time on. There's a few key things about leaving an effective voicemail. The first thing is leaving a specific purpose. The purpose for my call is X. You want to make sure that your voice message is less than 30 seconds long. And for me, I find the most success when I leave my name and contact information at the end of the call. A lot of times I get voicemails and they say, "Hey, Tyler, so-and-so with so-and-so Realty, here's my number," and then leave their message. For homeowners, as soon as they recognize that you're somebody that has no credibility with them, they're going to hang up. So you want to make sure you leave the purpose before you move into leaving your contact information and the call to action that you'd like them to take. If you have questions about leaving messages, I would recommend calling into our sales and support department. All of our staff here, before we allow them on the phone with people to talk about prospecting habits and techniques and things like that, they go through a 90-day certification, a very rigorous certification to teach them the best tips and practices. And they can have some wonderful conversations with you about answering machines, what messages you're leaving. I actually got that question 2 in a row. What voicemail script do you use? Again, our certified prospecting specialists can help you do that. Are expired leads scrubbed for relisted and active status? Yes, absolutely. That's one of the wonderful things about Vortex is we are scrubbing those to let you know if and when they relist. Do not call registry again? Yes, absolutely. They're scrubbed on the do not call registry. Here's a question. Are we limited to a specific zip code or can we do several? What's normal with the REDX membership? It depends on the product. Expired listings, for example, the source for those is the MLS, which means the boundaries that you'll be able to pull expired listings from is the MLS boundaries. So if it's in the MLS and it's expired, then we can provide it to you. If it's not in the MLS and it's expired on a different MLS that you are not a paying member of, we cannot provide that to you. The FSBOs and the for rent by owners are typically done by county. Just like the pre-foreclosures, obviously the source for pre-foreclosure information is the county recorder's office, and they're not going to have information for other counties. The GeoLeads is fairly liberal. It allows you to pull information from your area. That means that whatever your MLS boundaries cover, that's where you're going to be able to pull information from, and that's what's normal. Now, you can purchase additional areas, say for FSBOs, for example, if you want multiple counties, you can do that for a very nominal fee. What's the difference between GeoLeads and Cole or Mojo's data? Really, the last word to that question is the key. It really comes down to data. We've had a fantastic working relationship with Cole for a long time. Their philosophy and how they pull data is a little bit different. They pull data based on who's receiving mail at the address, not necessarily the homeowner of the property. And we all know that the homeowner of the property isn't necessarily the person receiving mail at the address. That's one of the big things that REDX focuses on is who is the homeowner regardless of whether or not they live at the property. Because when it comes to selling a home, you want to talk to the owner, not the tenant. Not that having conversations with tenants aren't valid contacts. Again, that's where you want to ask those 2 questions. Do you know anyone looking to buy or sell, or are you looking to buy or sell when you get a tenant on the phone? But you want to make sure that when you're trying to list homes that you're talking to the homeowner. That is one big difference between REDX and a number of sources out there for leads, including Cole. Mojo, the truth is Mojo was a dialer company that tried to get into the data game, and their data is not as successful as REDX. Again, we've spent the last 15 years attempting to get you in touch with the homeowner of these properties. We've spent an enormous amount of time, energy, and resources, both in financial and manpower, attempting to make phone calls to test the data. And we've tested that of our competitors. And we know that REDX, while there are still bad phone numbers and wrong phone numbers and disconnected ones, they're going to connect you with more people when you go through and prospect consistently. And that's really what it comes down to is how many people are you connecting with? Because in the end, that's what you're paying a company like REDX or Mojo or Cole, is you're paying them to get you in touch with people who you'll have the opportunity to convert to be a client. And when you're prospecting for gold, quite literally, you want as much gold in as little dirt as you can get. And that's what you get with GeoLeads versus Cole or Mojo's data, or our expired listings versus anything else. Somebody says average seller stays in their home 7 years. So how would I fit that? How would that fit into the equation? So I don't know when this question came in, so I don't know exactly what I was talking about. But one thing that I did mention is if I was looking for new neighborhoods to move into, if I was looking for new areas for me to move into to generate new listings from new contacts, a good place to start would be neighborhoods that are approximately 7 years old. My neighborhood, for my personal neighborhood, for example, is right about the 7 to 8 year mark, and it seems like almost every other week there's a new home popping up for sale and selling a couple of weeks later, and that's because it's simply the time that people are moving. And so if I was going to look for new neighborhoods to work in, I personally would look for neighborhoods that are about 7 years old, because then I can rest assured that statistically people are going to be moving out of their homes and looking to sell anytime soon. Somebody says, I was signed up before and I found that the numbers were not good. They were disconnected. That is absolutely true, and I won't argue with that. In fact, I want to help you understand that a lot of them are. A lot of them are disconnected. And one thing that the expectation that I like to create for people is that this is prospecting in the true sense of the word. Every time you dig your shovel or your pickaxe into the ground, you're not going to come up with a gold nugget. You're going to have to dig over and over and over and over. And that's why we interview these top prospecting agents, is because we want to know what people are doing who have gone from getting lots of bad phone numbers and gone to being a top prospector rather than getting away from prospecting altogether. That's why the content of this webinar is crucial, is because it helps you know what those top prospectors are doing. They are calling, and statistically speaking, you're probably going to make somewhere between 12 and 18 phone calls for every good connection. Now, this comes down to efficiency. If you've got to make 12 to 18 phone calls for a good connection, that means that you've got to make a lot of phone calls to talk to people. That's why our Storm Dialer is so effective. The average person can call, when dialing by hand, 15 to 25 calls per hour. Using Storm Dialer on a single line setting, you're going to call somewhere between 40 and 80, depending on some of the additional settings. If you're calling on our second or third lines for our Storm Dialer, it means that you're going to be calling as many as 120 phone calls in an hour. And that's why using the tools that they use is so crucial. Agents that are making $250,000 net commission income in their business are 94% more likely to be using a dialer in their business as opposed to an average producing agent, an average full-time agent. And when you look at that, you think, wow, accountants use calculators and contractors use nail guns. Agents should use dialers. That's just the way it is. That way you can get through those disconnected numbers. And you're right, a lot of them will be wrong. I'll be the first to attest to that. A lot of the phone numbers are wrong, but there are also a lot that are right, that will connect you with the right people. It is purely a numbers game. And so if that was your concern before, hopefully I can help you understand that prospecting is all a numbers game, and there are lots of digs with the shovel into the dirt before you find those gold nuggets. Here's one here that says foreclosure people have usually moved, so their number is no longer any good. That is true if it's a landline. That's not necessarily true if it's a cell phone. The other nice thing about foreclosures right now, guys and gals, is right now foreclosures are such a hot lead type, and the reason why is because home prices aren't what they were, values aren't what they were 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. And so people who are in foreclosure now, a lot of them have equity in the home. They've simply fallen on hard times and are no longer able to make their payments. And what that means is that these are people that have equity. These are people that are not upside down, and where the average foreclosure process for a county to go to auction is about 90 days. That's maybe even the ideal for most counties. Our average days on market nationwide right now is less than 45 days, which means you can contact an owner of a property that's received a notice of default, list and sell that home before the bank ever even has to be involved in a short sale process or anything. At this point, you're just selling it and they're paying off the loan, and hopefully it puts a little money in their pocket to start fresh. It's far more ideal for them and for you from a listing perspective than having to deal with the banks, unless that's your specialty. But for most agents I come in contact with, that's not. And so foreclosures right now are such an amazing lead type for that reason. It's simply getting on the phone and finding those properties that are not underwater and helping arrange a process and a plan for these people to pay off the mortgage, not totally destroy their credit and have a bankruptcy or a foreclosure on their credit, and hopefully start fresh, even though that means it might be in a new location for them. But you're right, some of the foreclosures will have moved, but because we are searching cell phone numbers, that information is often still really good. Another question about the recording. I am recording it. I don't know when I'll make it available again, but I promise I'll email the same list when it is available again. I've already been with REDX for some time. Awesome. This list went out to my past clients, but inevitably that means that some people who are with us still end up getting those emails. Thank you. I will make you the same offer. If you purchase any additional REDX service, I'll give you those GeoLeads free for 30 days. And again, all of the same content. Let's see. How do we compare to LandVoice? Another question about competitors. What it comes down to is data. And when you call LandVoice, they'll say the same thing. They'll say REDX's data is not as good as ours, and REDX says LandVoice is not as good as theirs. The truth is, REDX is the only one of the companies out there that has actually spent the time and resources and energy to test the data. And I'm sure that our competitors have done the same thing, but we are attempting to test their data at any given time. We've made nearly 1 million data phone calls testing our competitors' data, testing our data, and testing that of third-party providers that we could partner with that would help us improve our data. Data is an ongoing initiative for REDX. It has been since 2003. We are continually tweaking and making changes to the algorithms, how we interpret the raw data that we aggregate, and then how we clean it up to give it back to you. All of this is a continual process for REDX. And when you call LandVoice, they will say the same thing. One thing that I would challenge you to do is use both side by side, and you'll find that REDX connects you with more people and provides better contact information. Another question, how accurate are the leads since most people are transitioning to cell phones rather than landlines? We are searching cell phones. In one data file that we search from, we have over 220 million cell phone numbers. Cell phones is a very, very active part of our data aggregation. And we're finding that we connect you with quite a few people on their cell phones. How much is everything? I'm not sure what that question means by everything. The GeoLeads by itself is $49.99. Because we have so many different services, if you want to create a custom package, I would recommend calling our 800 number, 800-731-7339. Let me see if I can put that back on the screen there. 800-731-7339. Use that GeoLeads today code so that you get the GeoLeads free for 30 days, and then they can help price out and build an additional or a custom package for you with whichever leads and tools you're interested in working with. Commitment for that, you can commit monthly and only be committed month to month. Be aware that we do bill you automatically. It provides an uninterrupted flow of leads, and we're very honest up front in telling you that we do that. We will bill you every single month until you cancel. So you can do it month to month. If you want to prepay for 3, 6, or 12 months, we have options to do that with additional discounts as well. So if you're committed to prospecting and you'd like to save the most amount of money, you can pay for 12 months up front and receive a 15% discount. Let me click back to the questions here. What about Mojo Dialer? I don't know what that question means. What about Mojo Dialer? We have a sync with the Mojo Dialer. I'm personally, and maybe this will come across as biased, but I'm partial to the Storm Dialer in Vortex. There's no syncing, there's no back and forth, and I think that the interface is far better. On top of that, there's no delay when you contact people. And so we are a fan of hearing the hello every time when somebody picks up the phone. You can hear them say hello and jump right into the conversation. Do we have access to emails? We do have our premier service called Onyx. It is a qualification by invitation only product, but it does include email addresses. If you're curious to know if you qualify for that, contact our support staff, or our sales staff, at 800-731-7339. There are some prospecting qualifications that need to be met before you can purchase Onyx, but if you qualify for it, it is hands down the best prospecting experience on the market, period. Can one add one sphere of influence? If you have your sphere of influence in a file type like a CSV that you could import into Vortex, absolutely. You can put it in there. It would be housed in this My Imports folder right here. I would absolutely recommend that. That way all of your leads can be in one place. You can use our Storm Dialer to call those. It's a fantastic opportunity, and you can use GeoLeads to knock around your sphere of influence and call around your sphere of influence. Here's a lengthy question. Give me a second just to read it here. Oh, simply saying, oh, I had this, but I never knew how to use it. Great. Fantastic. Thank you. I'm glad that you found that helpful. Will someone walk me through this if I buy the leads? Absolutely. We have phenomenal customer support. In fact, our customer support is rated a 4.8 out of 5 stars by our customers, which is phenomenal. If my cell phone provider had that kind of service, I'd probably not drop calls all the time. The truth is we have phenomenal customer support. They are dedicated to helping you. When you call into our support staff, you'll never feel like they're trying to rush you off the phone to take another phone call. We make sure that we're adequately staffed so that they can spend the time necessary with you to make sure that you understand how to use the system. But in addition to that, all of our support staff goes through a rigorous 90-day training to teach them not only how to use the system, but this training is specifically how you use the system and how you prospect and how to help you to be successful. And so in addition to just saying, hey, click here to do this, they can say, click here to do this, but also say this, because that will give you the best results. Can you import leads to other services? Absolutely. You can export to a CSV, and most other services will allow you to jump in. I'm a lender. How can I take advantage of GeoLeads? Can I partner with agents? If you're a lender, you can purchase the GeoLeads. The only leads that we have that can only be sold to real estate agents are the expired listings, because we require that they are paying members of the MLS. If you're a lender, you can sign up for the GeoLeads and do that, and that's a fantastic thing to do. We do show numbers on the Do Not Call registry. Lots of questions about the Do Not Call registry. Cell phones, yes, absolutely. Email, we do not find emails unless you're using our premier product, Onyx. Onyx is a by invitation only product. Contact our department, our sales department, see if you qualify for that. When you sign up for REDX, you get GeoLeads. So the offer that I'm making, just for clarification, when you sign up for any REDX service, expireds, FSBOs, for rent by owners, pre-foreclosures, or storm, I'm going to give you GeoLeads free for 30 days. After that, the GeoLeads in tandem with another lead service is only $40 a month. If you have it by itself, it's $49 a month. Do prospectors leave voice messages? It depends. The top prospectors don't. They move on. Generally speaking, you'll run into top prospectors who do, but many of them don't. It's simply a numbers game. They want to contact as many people in a short amount of time as possible, but they still do get a lot of callbacks simply because we all have caller ID nowadays, and a lot of times we'll call a number back. I'm currently a LandVoice user for expireds and FSBOs. What is the benefit to switch to REDX besides GeoLeads? The truth is the data quality, and I mentioned this earlier. I would urge you to use them side by side. If you're not convinced based on my word alone, use them side by side. It would be a wise investment because you'd find that REDX is superior. I used REDX prior but had no idea how to use it. I was just guessing. I am sorry to hear that. If we can help in any way, we are here to do so. My support staff is phenomenal. Sign back up with us, and we'll make sure that you get trained. Is there any other cost involved? Does my MLS charge me or anything like a website? No, there's not. You have our subscription costs, and we provide you the leads, and that's the only cost that wouldn't be involved for you to purchase some of our services. Do not call registry. We are scrubbing all the phone numbers. This person's asking more specifically, what do I do about those ones? I urge you to remain do not call compliant. If I'm hiking on a trail, I tend to stay as far away from the edge of the cliff as possible. And I think that everybody should follow the same suit. Not everybody does, and that's fine. For you to understand how the do not call registry affects you, I would communicate with your broker. They can best help you understand that. How accurate is the data? My experience wasn't good in the past. Have you improved it? Yes, we're always improving our data. That I mentioned earlier, that is an ongoing initiative for us. Have the expectation, and I mentioned this earlier also, there are lots of wrong phone numbers, period. There are lots of disconnected numbers, period. That's why we sell a dialer, to help you burn through your list quicker, to make sure that you're getting to the positive connections. Again, the statistics are the average person can make 15 to 25 phone calls max per hour when dialing by hand, which means that if you've got 200 leads to call, you're going to spend a large amount of hours, right? Somewhere between 8 and 11 hours contacting those 200 leads. Whereas with my Storm Dialer on a single line setting, you can contact between 40 and 80, depending on some of the other settings, 40 or 80 calls an hour. Or if you're dialing on my double or triple line dialer, you can call as many as 120 in an hour. So you'll drastically increase your efficiency by making calls faster. Lots of thank yous, lots of I've already got signed up, lots of somebody here saying, oh, I'm on hold. Awesome. If you're on hold, it's probably because there's lots of people calling to the sales staff. Please be patient. My whole staff is in there and answering phones like mad. I can see my entire staff through the glass right now. They are actually all on the phone at the moment. So stay on the phone and they will get to you. At what point in the foreclosure are you getting the leads? We are not getting them from the 30-day notice. We're getting them. We're getting them after the notice of default has been filed. Again, and somebody mentions here that's not enough time to help with the short sale. You're absolutely right. What we're finding right now is pre-foreclosures right now are really hot for lead sales that are not short sales. Again, average time on market nationwide right now is less than 45 days. And the average foreclosure process after the NOD has been filed is 90 days, which means you can contact these people. And because home prices have continued to increase over the past few years, many of these people are not underwater, which means a short sale may not even be necessary. It just means that you can sell the home for them. They can pay off the mortgage and they'll still have dings on their credit, but it will not be a bankruptcy or a pre-foreclosure or a foreclosure. So certainly helpful doing that. Do we provide any REDX leads exclusively? We do not, simply because the source for all of these is not exclusive. Anybody with access to the MLS can access expired MLS listings. Anybody with access to the newspapers and websites can access FSBOs, and so we don't do exclusivity. Monthly cost for GeoLeads is by themselves $49.99. If you pair them with any other lead type, they're only $40 a month. Expired listings, somebody asked what's the cost for those, is $59.99. Are numbers always owners versus renters? Not always, but that's who we're attempting to find. There will be times when you'll contact a renter. Make sure that you're using those two key questions that we've gone through, right? You want to answer that question or ask those two questions. Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell, or are you looking to buy or sell? And take advantage of that contact. How far back does the sales history go? Sales history. The only thing that I can think that this person is asking is, how far, when we're scrubbing using the GeoLeads tool to tell you homes that have been owned for X amount of time, we're basing that off of the MLS. And so however far back your MLS history goes, we're able to check that information. Can we transfer into other systems? Absolutely. Can you search phone numbers for other leads from other sources? We don't search phone numbers, but you can import them into the tool to use them there. But we don't do like bulk imports, for example. Can I import a spreadsheet and it will pull the phone numbers for that address? No, you could do it one at a time. If you want to enter one lead at a time, you can actually have it pull the phone number. That tends to be tedious, but we don't have an option for somebody to enter in a whole spreadsheet and find all the phone numbers for everybody there. People from Canada, I see your email addresses. Thank you so much. If we need REDX, do we need Cole anymore? In theory, no, you don't. Cole is a fantastic company. We have a fantastic working relationship with them, but I would urge you to use them side by side, and I stand very confident in saying that you'll connect with more owners in a shorter amount of time using REDX than you would with Cole. How do I find the age of a particular neighborhood? Your tax and county records would be a great place to go. If you're driving through a neighborhood that looks somewhat if you're going through a neighborhood that looks somewhat new, then jump on your tax records and find that. Landline or cell phone? We're finding cell phone. We're getting all this information. So I'm getting into a lot of repeat questions here. Let me do this. We've already gone an hour and a half. I am hugely appreciative of the people that are that have lasted with me. For those of you who are accepting this offer, stay with me for just a few more minutes. For those of you who, for whatever reason, have not made up your mind yet or have decided against it, thank you so much for your time anyway. I hope that you found value in the things that I was able to teach you. I hope that there's some things that you will be able to take and implement into your business to help you be productive and help you to achieve the results that the top prospectors achieve. So thank you so much. Now, for those of you who have accepted the offer, thank you so much. We enjoy having you back as a customer, and we hope that your experience with this is wonderful, and we want to make sure that we can provide you the best experience possible, please communicate with us. If there's something we can do to help you, please contact us so that we can help you do that. Now, what I'm going to be doing for those of you who have accepted my offer today, or if you accept it here in the next couple of days, what I'm going to do is probably Monday, I will be compiling all of your emails and sending out all of these bonuses. So please be patient as I get those out. It will probably be Monday as I compile the list and get everything, all the bonuses that I've offered to you sent out. So please be patient with me there, but I will get those sent out to you. Now, guys and gals, the other thing is here, we care immensely about our customer base. We really do. In fact, when you come through our office and on a day-to-day basis, you hear lots of language surrounding the success of our customers. How can we help them be more successful? I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar that our purpose as an organization, the reason we exist, is to clear the path to success for real estate professionals. And at this point in our existence as a company, that is surrounded around prospecting. We are trying to solve problems for you in your prospecting. If you face them, let us know. We may have a solution for you. If not, we will take your feedback and we have a massive feedback list compiled to know what we can best do to help our customers to be successful. Thank you so much, guys and gals. If you have questions here that I didn't get to, literally, there are hundreds and hundreds of questions as I'm scrolling through. Many of them are repeat ones that I've answered already, and I even answered several questions more than once. As we go through here, if there's questions that I wasn't able to answer for you, please reach out to us. Call the number 800-731-7339, and you'll be able to communicate with us and ask all of those questions. My certified prospecting specialists are standing by. There's a couple of comments here that you're on hold. Please be patient. We're moving quick. There's been a lot of people, literally hundreds on this webinar today, and so I want to make sure that we help everybody as efficiently but as completely as possible. Guys and gals, thank you so much. This has been how to generate contacts on demand and consistently set listing appointments. I hope that you found value in it today. I'm confident that you did. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to respond to any of the emails that I've sent you this week with other questions. I'd be happy to communicate with you and help you in any way. Best of luck to you. Happy and successful prospecting to all of you as you complete your 2017 and move into a successful 2018. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic remainder of your week.